Hello, this is the technical support team, and this is the second video about the multi-vendor feature. In our previous video, we talked about the process of onboarding the supplier, how to specify the commission that we want to take from the supplier by one way, which is the commission value and the commission percentage. We also talked about specifying custom commissions for some payment methods. We talked about how to display the supplier information on the invoice page. And last but not least, we talked about how to get some information about the suppliers and their wallets at MyFatoorah. So in this video, we'll focus on how to add a supplier to the invoice that we're creating. First, let's take a look at the supplier that we created in our previous video. So this is the supplier code, and we will use the supplier code in the request to add him to the invoice. And this is the commission value and commission percentage that are default. And these are the custom commission value and commission percentage for Visa Master. And we said that we want to display the supplier details on the invoice page. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we should make the request. So here, we first have the payment method ID. So the payment method ID specifies which payment method we want the payment URL to be for. 1 is for Kenneth, and 2 is for Visa Master, and so on. And to know the other payment method ID, you have to call the initiate payment endpoint. Then the invoice value, which is the amount that the customer will pay. Then we have the supplier's object. The first part is the supplier code, and this specifies which supplier is a part of this invoice. Then we have the proposed share. The proposed share is the other method that is used to make the commission and take it from the supplier. If the commission value and commission percentage is not applicable to the agreement that you had with your supplier, so you will make the calculation in your own code, and whatever value your supplier should receive for this invoice, you will pass it to the proposed share. Please note that the proposed share overwrites the commission value and commission percentage. If you don't want to use the proposed share, you can either send it as null or not send it at all. In this example, we will send it as null. Then we have the invoice share. The invoice share specifies by how much does this supplier contribute to this invoice. If there is a single supplier, the invoice share should be equal to the invoice value. If there are multiple suppliers, the invoice share of each of them and their total should be equal to the invoice value. If there are multiple suppliers, the percentage that you take from the commission percentage is taken from their invoice share and not from the total invoice value. So let's go ahead and create the payment link. Let's open the payment link. Let's make a payment. So this is Kenneth, as we said. We will pass the card information. And you see that these are the supplier information that we talked about. And this is the logo of the supplier that we talked about. Okay, let's take a deeper look at how much amount did the vendor take and how much amount did the supplier take. Let's go ahead and call getPaymentStatus endpoint. So first here, you see at the bottom, there is a supplier, and you see there are a few parameters that we specified in the request, which is the supplier code, invoice share, and proposed share. And we also have here the due deposit, which is the amount that the vendor received. So how much amount did the vendor receive? So let's go back to get suppliers. And we will find that since we used the commission percentage for this request, you will receive 1%, but you will receive it from the net value because we said that it's percentage of net value. So we'll not receive 1% out of the 1,000. Instead, you will receive your 1% out of what is remaining of the 1,000 after the deduction of the transaction fees. So if you go back to get payment status, we will find that the invoice share also got deducted by this same amount, which is 994. And this is the 1% that the vendor took his commission from. And the amount that the supplier received will be found here. The deposit share of the supplier. Let's go ahead and make another one using Visa Master. Since we specified for Visa Master, let's go back. We specified that I want to take 1 as a commission value, 1 as a commission percentage, and I want my percent to be of the net value. Here we will specify the payment method to be 2, which is Visa Master. We will send the request. Let's open the payment link. This is the OTP page in the demo, and we will submit it as success, and the payment is made. You can still see that the supplier information is the information displayed on the invoice page. Let's go ahead and check the invoice. So I'm expecting the vendor to receive 1% of the net of the total value, which is 1 of 1,000 is 10, and 1 as a commission value, which is total of 11, and this is what happened. And then the rest of the amount will go to the supplier, and the transaction fees will be deducted from it. So if we go down here, we find that the invoice share is 1,000 because we didn't use percentage of net value, so it will remain the same. And the deposit share is how much the supplier took after the deduction of the transaction fees and the vendor commission. Now, let's go ahead and use for the last example for now the proposed share. So let's say in my calculation, I told the supplier that you will receive 900 out of 1,000 and the 100 will go to me and MyFatoorah will take its transaction fees from that. So based on that agreement, the proposed share will be 900. Let's go ahead and send the request. Let's make the payment. Now the payment is done. Let's go ahead and take a look at the details of this payment. So first, let's check how much amount did the supplier receive. So we said the deposit share represents how much amount this supplier received, which is the 900. So the supplier received the 900. And then I received 100, and MyFatoorah will take its transaction fees from me. So the transaction fees are basically the total service charge plus the VAT amount, which is this one. So now I will receive 100 minus these, and then this will be the amount that the vendor receives. Thank you for watching this video guide on the multi-vendor feature. Hope this benefits you and makes your integration with MyFatoorah more seamless.